What's up, guys? Pro Series athlete Hunter Labrada here, sitting inside of 12 weeks out from my first show of the season. Wanted to take you all through a push workout. Today's gonna be my push A variation, and I won't tell you what we're doing. I'm just gonna show you all. First up, though, is gonna be a plate-loaded incline. We're gonna be using the Atlantis. Throughout this session, I'm not gonna speak in like absolutes, like you have to use this exact piece. I'm gonna talk in like, you wanna use like whatever you have available to you for that exercise. So, like, we're starting here. Obviously, this is a machine plate loaded incline. If you have this one, awesome. If not, if you have the hammer, if you have a prime, Cybex, whatever, use a plate loaded incline that fits you. Then we're gonna go to a plate loaded flat. Doesn't have to be the Nautilus. Use one that fits you. Hopefully y'all get what I'm saying. Without further ado, let's train. Eight plates today? Big weights, big pecs, is that how it works? So first exercise up, like I said, gonna be machine incline. We're gonna be doing 3 working sets here. I feel like it's the best bang for our buck in terms of pressing motions today, so we do 3 working sets here. We'll do 2 on all the subsequent presses. Starting with the pressing is something that's new for me. I've been starting with like a fly and pre-exhausting for a really long time, so it's a novel stimulus and it's a good stimulus. I've really been enjoying doing it this way for a couple weeks now. You continue to progress it like this for the foreseeable future, for sure.
That's you. Beautiful.
All right, so second exercise up, 2 working sets here. Just straight sets still, aiming to land somewhere in that 8 to 10 range. We're going to a flat machine press, so we'll be using the Nautilus flat today. It's by far my favorite flat around. Some good alternatives to this would be the hammer flat, Cybex flat, a slightly inclined Smith machine press. There's a bunch of different options we have for this one, but this is gonna be a second movement going from that incline down to a more flat working plane. With any pressing that we do today, and it's pretty much a universal cue across the board, what we really want to pay attention to doing is, maximizing both the stretch and the contraction that we're able to get out of our pec. So, think about where your pec originates and where it inserts, and how you can get that point as far away and as close as possible. It comes down to, getting the arm. It doesn't have to be chicken winged out, but getting the arm to move as far back as we can get it while comfortably keeping our shoulder in position. And then as we press or fly or whatever we do, getting that bicep to the pec and really getting that insertion as close to the origin as possible. So in a press, you're back here, it's coming and it's getting short. In a fly, you're out here, you're still getting pec to bicep and getting it short. So at the end of the day, that's really all we're trying to do is, get as big of a stretch and then force as much of a contraction as possible under load. Bodybuilding in a sentence.
That's it. That's you. Beautiful.
You help on the last one? Excellent. that have kept up with me for any length of time, you know, I'm a big progressive overload guy working out of a logbook. For those of you that haven't or don't really quite know what I'm writing in there, you know, every session that I have is very set and very structured on, you know, like what exercises, the order of the exercises, how many working sets, everything. And I've been running them for long enough now that, you know, I have the sets and the weights written down for months prior to today. So I'm very aware of, you know, the goals that I have headed into the session. In an off-season setting, there's no reason I shouldn't be pushing those numbers regularly. And now that I'm in a prep setting, it's a great tool to really see, you know, when fatigue begins to accumulate. And, you know, I'm able to make like very scientific reductions to volume. Not just saying, oh, I'm training a little less. No, I can say I pulled, you know, 10% of my volume off my total weekly load for a certain body part because I'm doing set numbers of everything. So it gives you the ability to treat your training like another, you know, dialed in variable. You never would imagine dieting without, you know, weighing your food and knowing exactly what you're eating. You know, why train without knowing exactly what you're doing and what you're lifting and, you know, your weekly volume, and, you know, be able to make adjustments to it based off that.
Execution is a progression. Let's go.
Alright guys, so after the roller fly that we did to finish up our chest work, first thing we did for shoulders was going to be a prime shoulder press. Again, fitting with the theme, it doesn't have to be the prime, just a plate loaded or pin select shoulder press that fits your body well. I can even do a Smith machine press, would be a great option here too, high incline Smith. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it. But most importantly, whenever you're doing, you know, this press or any press, really pay attention to how braced we are, how much we're wedging ourselves in there, and really the exercise really beginning with our feet. You know, all the power is coming from the ground, and, you know, you can't fire a cannon from a canoe. The more stable you are, the more output you'll get. So, you know, being in that reminded me of that, because I do wedge myself in there pretty good. Two working sets on the shoulder press that you end up on, whatever it is, and the 8 to 12 rep range, just aiming to hit somewhere, failure in there. So moving on from there, we got isolation work left for shoulders and then triceps. We're gonna do 3 working sets of the prime lateral machine and then finish up with cup tricep extensions. when I do these, all I'm trying to do is replicate a lateral in the scapular plane, which is, you know, like right here-ish. So I feel like if you're grabbing those handles, it puts you a lot more in that side 90-degree plane that I'm not trying to be in, because it crunches my shoulders. You know, your shoulders most mechanically advantaged to work in this plane. A very fancy way of saying it's most comfortable on my fucking shoulders to do it that way. So that's why I do it without the handles, and, you know, aiming to get, you know, arms slightly in front of me, not straight out.